Everything I learned about shopping, I learned on an island. Not some little bitty island with sailboats and sand. I mean the island that Peter Stuyvesant bought for $24 worth of baubles, bangles, and bright, shiny beads. Manhattan Island. And when you start with real estate at those prices, you know it's going to have the best bargain shopping in the world. Everything I learned about bargain shopping, I learned from my grandma during my summer visits. Her favorite Yiddish proverb was, "Life's the greatest bargain. We get it for nothing." To go bargain shopping, we would get on the elevated platform before dawn in the Bronx at Soundview Station on the Pelham Line. Grandma taught me how to ride the trains if we couldn't get a seat. She was only 4 feet 10 inches tall, so she couldn't reach the handles that hung from the ceiling. She'd grab onto one of the poles, stuff her pocketbook, purse, under her arm, and between her knees, she pushed her red canvas plastic bag for her packages. My grandma was reusing and recycling long before it was fashionable. Then she'd place me between the pole and herself and place our hands alternately one over the other. And then we'd sway back and forth to the train's rhythm. My grandma taught me how to pole dance. The train would plunge into darkness, and when we got to 125th Street, we'd change trains for the express and then ride it all the way downtown to 14th Street and Union Square, where we'd emerge by dawn's early light in front of the biggest, brawlingest bargain basement in the world, S. Klein's. We lined up behind the police barricades with the other gladiators, and when the bell signaled the store's opening, mowed down the guards and charged into the arena. There were no racks with clothes hanging nicely. Instead, there were huge bins with signs marking what was in them. "Grandma, here, a sweater. I want a purple sweater." Grandma leaped up to look into the box, and doing an Esther Williams dive, emerged with the sleeve of a purple sweater. On the other side of the box, holding the other sleeve of that sweater, was a woman who looked as if she drove a Mack truck when she was not otherwise shopping at S. Klein's. The Mack truck lady tugged on one sleeve. Grandma, levitating on the other side of the box, held on to her sleeve. The Mack truck lady pulled. Grandma pulled. The Mack truck lady pulled. Grandma pulled. Suddenly, I was reminded of that story in the Bible where 2 women claimed to be the rightful mother of the baby. I was reminded of that story because right before my eyes, my purple sweater was unraveling in half. Grandma threw back her sleeve, did another Esther Williams dive, and emerged with 2 sleeves of a purple sweater. We moved on to the unmentionables. Straps and cups and every imaginable brassiere, as my mama called them, were lining the floor for me to examine. But the real floor show was the women who couldn't get into the dressing rooms, who were trying on clothes in the aisles, half naked. Grandma hissed, "Mamala, cover your eyes. There are some things a child shouldn't see. It's a shanda, a shame." I covered my eyes, but peeked through the slits in my hands the way I did at scary movies. Grandma was right. It was worse than a horror film. But it was a good thing that I peeked, because that's when I saw the sign over the bin that said, "Leather jackets, $1." The leather must have been very special because it had quotation marks around the word. Grandma, Grandma, I want a white leather jacket. Please, please, a white leather jacket. Grandma did another Esther Williams dive into the bin and emerged triumphantly with a white leather jacket. When she got it on me, it actually looked more like a coat, but she assured me that I would grow into it. I was delighted. It's only $1. That's when Grandma put her finger to her lips, indicating that I shouldn't tell my mother how much it cost. It would be our secret. At the end of the summer, when I returned to Tulsa, I was careful not to tell my mother the prices of my new clothes that she examined with a critical eye. Just before school started, we went to the store in Ranch Acres where all the popular kids shopped, just to see what we couldn't afford to buy. Guys and Dolls was one of those stores that I still don't feel comfortable in. Everything is organized by colors and then by sizes. As if that doesn't make things simple enough, there's a sales lady right there to help. I ask you, what's the challenge in that? The first rack I spied was the one with white leather jackets in ascending sizes. I went to the rack and saw the price tag. $10. $10! I could hear my father's voice saying, "Highway robbery." I marched right up to the counter and said to the sales lady, $10? How can you charge $10 for that jacket? It's highway robbery. My grandma bought me the identical white leather jacket at S. Klein's in New York City for $1. $1. At least that's what I had planned on saying. But before I could even get started, my mother was right behind me, clamping her hand over my mouth, putting me on my heels and dragging me out of the store backwards at a 45-degree angle. Somehow she opened the door, got me outside, and twirled me around, furious. But Mama, I was only going to say that Grandma got me the exact leather jacket at S. Klein's for only $1. Somewhere I had the memory of my grandma's finger over her lips, but that wasn't as awful as what my mother said next. My mother uttered the 3 most horrible words I heard in my entire childhood. Actually, for someone who would grow up to be a storyteller, they are still the 3 most horrible words I can hear. Referencing the leather of my jacket, my mother said, "It isn't real." Not real? Not real? What is it? And a full decade before the movie The Graduate would make this word famous, my mother said, "Plastic." Plastic? Plastic was what my pail and shovel were made of. Plastic was for picnic plates and forks. Plastic? How could a leather jacket be plastic? I did not understand. I went home to compare, and I could not tell the difference. And to this day, I still cannot tell the difference between plastic, vinyl, or real leather. I cannot tell the difference between fake fur and real, and don't like either. I cannot tell the difference between a rhinestone, a cubic zirconium, or a diamond. But thanks to my grandma, I know a bargain when I find one.